Welcome back. In this little tutorial, I want to show you how to make some of these really cool wooden rings without a lathe out of scrap woods. I try to keep my scrap wood as organized as I can, and I use these little bins and I organize them by species for pieces that are going to be more appropriate for jewelry. I also keep some blanks that are already glued up. You know, if I'm going to make one ring, sometimes I'll make a blank that could have 2 or 3 rings out of it. And so then I just have those ready to go as well. The ring I'm going to make today, I'm going to use yellow heart and purple heart in Wenge. The yellow heart and purple heart make a nice ring for people here in Arizona. It's ASU color. So I didn't have a purple heart piece that was the appropriate size in my scrap bin, so I'm just going to rip just a nice thin piece here. The key to a strong ring is to make sure that you laminate these pieces together with alternating the grain pattern, just like plywood is. So, you know, each piece you want to flip the opposite direction or flip it 90 degrees so that the grain is going to be running in the other direction. I really like these Bessie clamps because they give a nice squeeze that's even so that, you know, everywhere around the ring has good pressure. My drill bits, I have a little section here specifically for ring bits, so I know with my little sizing chart which bit to select. So if I want like an 8, I'm going to have to select the one in that range. Obviously, you're going to have to start with the hole a little bit smaller and then sand it out to get it up to the size that you need. I like to knock the corners off at the bandsaw. This just makes it a little bit less work at the disc sander, but the disc sander works just fine. So if you don't have a bandsaw or don't feel comfortable, you know, being that close to the blade, then the disc sander totally works just fine. So here I'm just going to get it down, you know, closer on the outside to being a nice even circle. I'm just going to round the edges over just a little bit as well. All right, so that's where we're starting from. So I need to make this just a little bit bigger. So you'll see why I have tape on there soon. But so here I'm just going to work it a little bit, grind it out. You want to check it periodically, see where you're at. I have just a little bit more work to do. And you want to keep flipping the ring over because you're never going to be holding it perfectly straight over the top of it. The last ring that I made was a little bit bigger ring, so I need to pull a little bit of this tape off. So you want to get that ring on there nice and tight at this point, and I'm going to sand it at 120, 220, and 320 at this point. Eventually I'm going to go up to 400 and 800. And you're going to notice here that I'm going to flip the ring over. Again, this is really important because you're not going to be able to get the same rounded angle trying to push down when you're sanding on it versus if you were trying to push from the bottom up. So it just works better to just keep flipping it over and work it in both directions, and then you're able to really knock down the grain everywhere and get a really, really smooth finish. So I'm at 320 here. Now I'm just going to finish off the inside with a little bit of 320, and then I'm going to actually put the CA glue. That's what I'm going to use as my finish for this. Makes a really nice durable finish. And I'm going to do this to the inside at this point because when you're putting CA glue on the inside, some of it's going to get on the outside. So you're going to have to resand the outside. So once I'm at 320, I go ahead and do that because I have the shape pretty well finished at this point. All right, so now I did 320 again, and I'm going to do the 400 and 800, and I run these actually wet sanding. Either way, you're going to get a really smooth finish if you're sanding up to 800. So this works great. Then I'm just going to buff it out. Just use a little bit of mineral spirits to make sure you get all of the dust out. So I'm doing the other direction as well. And I applied CA glue to a little piece of, I use like a t-shirt material, and let that spin, and it makes a really beautiful finish. So I usually put a couple coats on like that. Here's a couple other examples of rings that I made today. So using dyed veneers, you can get things like rainbows, or if somebody really likes a specific color. But I really like the natural look of purple heart, yellow heart, padu, wenge, woods that naturally have a lot of color to them. So I hope that you have some fun making some jewelry yourself.